This is a Check This Out exclusive.
Of the 7.2 billion people on Earth, 3 billion have internet access. 2.1 billion are using social media right now.
Check This Out News, coming to you live. InnovateLA kicks off November 2nd, now in its fourth year. This event has grown tremendously and is aiming to be the South by Southwest of the West, hosting over 165 events with over 30,000 attendees. InnovateLA is well on its way to being that deal. So, with us on the line, we have event director from LA's Economic and Development, Chris Rico. Chris, you are moving and grooving. Los Angeles is home to entertainment and a slew of tech companies. Every day the city seems to have something to offer. So why InnovateLA?
Yeah, so thank you so much. So I work for the Los Angeles County Economic Development Corporation. We're a private nonprofit. And why InnovateLA? The purpose is, when I started this role 4 years ago, I met with a bunch of venture capitalists, and I said, what can I do as somebody who works at an economic development agency to support you to grow the innovation ecosystem? And they said, flip the script, change the perception of LA. Let people know that we aren't just Kardashians and palm trees, right? And so the purpose, the driving mission of InnovateLA has been to tell the real LA story, which is, if you want to innovate anything, come to Los Angeles. We have an embarrassment of riches when it comes to diversity of industry here. We have 4 Hyperloop companies. We have rockets being launched in our backyard at night. We have biotech. Obviously, it's the center of the world in terms of entertainment and media and digital media. So that's the purpose of InnovateLA, is to tell that story and also to drive economic development.
No worries at all. So, some very interesting information on InnovateLA, and clearly the numbers have grown, so it's in its fourth year. How is InnovateLA making its stride to become like South by Southwest, and do you think you'll see a day when they are very comparable in terms of popularity?
Yeah, so that's a good question. There's some recent developments that have helped to push us in that direction. First and foremost is that there's a guy named John Rissant who used to produce the Davos Festival in Switzerland for the World Economic Forum. And he, along with a lot of other people, are choosing to come to LA now to build some really big things. And he's come here, and this is the second year of an event he's producing called LA Commotion, which is all about autonomy and mobility and first mile, last mile transit. Through the work that he did with the World Economic Forum, he really firmly believes that how cities grow and evolve is really going to revolve around transportation. The other thing that's happening is Mobile World Congress, which is next to CES, the second largest trade show on the planet in Madrid. Just this year, for the first time, came last month to have their North American presence. They chose Los Angeles.
Oh, dang.
There's another producer named Mark Lieber, who this year, and it's one of the tentpole events on the InnovateLA calendar, is producing what's called the Infinity Film Festival, and that's all about VR and AR and how blockchain is going to be tied into media. So all those things converging. My goal as somebody who works in economic development is to get all those people together, to get them on the same page. The other thing that is a factor is that we have the Olympics coming up in 10 years. So collectively as a community, it behooves us to work together to drive for the next 10 years towards that goal. That's just a one-time community festival. We want to build something that's happening every year.
Okay.
Very nice. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the event is not at one specific location, but around the city. Is that correct? And how does it work?
Thank you. It's actually around the whole county. So we're a county-facing organization. Most people don't know this about LA, but we're actually 88 cities.
I was not aware of that.
And so what we've done, again, how we started this was we created this marketing framework called InnovateLA, and then we messaged out to everybody that was innovating across all industry sectors, right? Because this isn't just about tech. It's food, it's art, it's fashion, it's civic and social innovation, it's aerospace and biotech and nanotechnology. So we messaged out to the organizations and the institutions and the event promoters and said, hey, we're throwing this big party from this year. It's from November 2nd to the 18th. We want you guys to program things to put on this calendar. So it's a disaggregated festival in the sense that we don't produce most of the stuff that's on the calendar. We curate some of it. We help when we can to make, bridge relationships, provide sponsorship, find venues. But mostly what we're doing is providing this common marketing thread.
So how does InnovateLA benefit Los Angeles' economy?
Yeah, so that was, as I said at the outset, Economic Development Agency, when I looked at South by Southwest, it induces $385 million worth of economic activity every year to Austin, Texas. Austin is a fraction of the size of Los Angeles. Art Basel Miami, which is a big festival, $500 million. New York Fashion Week, $900 million. So my question has been from the outset, where's LA's version of that? Why don't we have that? So as these events grow, it drives economic activity. You get more people in hotels. You get more people taking Uber and Lyft and buying food and going to restaurants. It's a huge economic driver. And when it gets to be, where we aspire towards that version of South by Southwest, it could be $1 billion economic engine.
Very nice. Now, what are some of the categories covered at this year's InnovateLA event, as well as what are some featured events that we can anticipate?
Yeah, so as I said before, it's really across the gamut, right? I will tell you this year I'm excited for the first time we have some weed or cannabis-focused events now that it's legal in Los Angeles. But there's events about, as I said, transportation and mobility, digital media and VR. There's a great event called Get Global that's all focused on working with local businesses to create innovative ways for them to take their products to market globally. That's one of the tentpole events. There's a great event called the Unicorn Challenge that's being led by the Alliance for Southern California Innovation. That's sort of like a next level hackathon with major corporate sponsors. Boston Consulting Digital Ventures is doing a design challenge at their really amazing offices in Manhattan Beach. So across every industry sector, all over the county, lots and lots of things.
So, the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology are the buzzwords of today. So what innovations can we expect to see either in these areas or beyond at InnovateLA?
Yeah, so I think, one of the things that I've come to realize in the 4 years that I've been in this role is the unique thing about Los Angeles, because we have this diverse industry sector, but we have the greatest creative class on the planet with Hollywood and digital media and music industry and other arts, here in Los Angeles, is as we move towards the future, it's really going to be about how all of these things converge. So the buzzword that I would use is convergence. And that's where you see things like AR and VR. They don't just have entertainment applications. They have applications in surgery and life sciences. They have applications in design and manufacturing. Blockchain obviously is going to go across that kind of disaggregated data storage. If it's successful, will go across every industry, right? It'll be the new sort of version of how do you keep track of everything in your supply chain.
You're a goddamn genius.
So, I know you mentioned a couple of things, but what's your favorite buzzword in tech and why?
Yeah, so I think I said for me right now, and maybe I'm the one of the only people that's using it, but I think it's convergence.
Convergence.
That's what I talk about. Yeah, convergence, how everything converges. And it's why I'm trying to get, LA Commotion, which is focused on mobility, to stand next to the Mobile World Congress and up against the Infinity Film Festival, because at some point, when you're in autonomous vehicles all the time, it's going to be a media device as well, right? So that's where those things are going to come together, and it makes sense to put them next to each other.
So you were talking about the life sciences and some of the other applications, even when it comes to AI, VR as well. Do you think that, AI, blockchain, IoT, is that still a buzzword? Do you feel like that's still going to be heavy?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're just in the initial phases of a lot of those technologies, and I think applications that we don't even understand or haven't even imagined, right? That's the thing they say about, there's a lot of concern, and obviously, again, we're an economic development agency, so for us, there's a lot of concern about job displacements, right? What are people going to be doing? And the optimists say, we don't even know because those jobs haven't been invented yet, right? And as, processing speeds increase, right? One of the knocks on blockchain currently is that it's super carbon intensive, right? It takes a lot of energy to mine a Bitcoin, for instance, right? Because all the processing that needs to happen with these computers, and as those computers speed up and as machines become more efficient, or perhaps they're powered by solar or wind, it doesn't become such a factor. So yeah, I think we're just at the forefront of a lot of those technologies. So I think we're going to be hearing those words for many years to come.
Interesting. Just kind of like watching how everything has evolved, obviously I know you have a passion and you have a vision for InnovateLA. How do you see it impacting the future of technology?
Well, so, the idea is that we want to create collisions, and a lot of these events and things that I work with people on are focused on getting people who work in different industry sectors in rooms together. So, for instance, we want engineers who are working at SpaceX to get into rooms with engineers who are working at Hyperloop or biotech, right? That's where the new ideas come from. That unicorn challenge that I talked to you about before, that there's going to be a lot of that there. Those are the things where we don't even know, and company will be created. People will run into each other that have never met each other, and then 10 years down the line, 2,000 people are going to work at that company that those two founders started.
Yeah. What type of planning and preparation have you had to endure in producing this citywide event?
Yeah. It's really about community building. That's what I've set out to do from the outset. And so there's a lot of getting out into the community and meeting people. There's a lot of inspiring people and supporting them with their visions. I love it because it's my vision, and I'm determined to see it come to fruition. And I think increasingly people look at what I'm doing and say, oh, yeah, this is the right time for this. Like, you're on to something. So we get a lot of validation. I don't know if you had a chance to check out the website at InnovateLA. The design has evolved and iterated over every year, and I think the design is the strongest it's ever been. And that's kind of part of the story, too, is that we're innovating the brand and the design every year just to kind of demonstrate the idea of innovation, how things change and grow.
How do you feel the innovation, or the application, would work in this category for, just what LA does and what it's known for? I mean, what celebrities do you expect this year to attend?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that's unknown. Again, because I don't produce most of the content. I can tell you that this Infinity Film Festival that's going to launch in Beverly Hills, the kickoff party is tonight at United Talent Agency, which is one of the biggest talent agencies in the world. I'm sure there's going to be celebrities there. And, this is a place where people like Baron Davis and Kobe and other celebrities are building companies. They have their own venture capital funds. And that's sort of one of the unique things about Los Angeles, right, is that we do have all these celebrities, but more and more they're crossing over into technology, building their own companies. Obviously, like what Jessica Alba did with the Honest Company that's here. Troy Carter, who used to be Lady Gaga's manager, building a bunch of stuff here. will.i.am has his own amazing company that's building technology products, and he has this sort of med science laboratory that I've seen that's amazing. This place is unlike any other place on the planet.
We want to remind you to please like our Facebook page if you haven't already. When you join, you'll be able to receive weekly updated news and events, live video messages, and most importantly, you'll be able to interact with tons of people just like you. So go on that button on top of your Facebook page and give it a click, or interact with us on Instagram. Without each and every one of you, Tech This Out would not exist. We couldn't do it without you. Make sure to repost and share different things you see on our page. The more you share,